was with mom, and then something happened. Okay, what happened is within hours, the FBI and the naval intelligence and the army intelligence descended upon the Issei, the Japanese alien, my parents' generation, Miki's parents' generation, and arrested about 2,000 of them within 48 hours. How could they do that so quickly? It's simple. Because they had a list created 2 to 5 years before Pearl Harbor ever happened, because the military had been worried about a potential war with Japan. So they started compiling a list of enemy aliens, which consisted of community leaders, school Japanese language teachers, martial arts experts, military veterans of the Russo-Japanese War. So they had a list, and that's why it was possible to immediately, like that, pick up 2,000 people and send them away to different types of camps, not the type of camp that Miki and I went to. They were called, these were internment camps.
Oh.
Okay.
Let's just hold it. There.
Okay, this is December 28th now. President Roosevelt had already designated allowed the Issei enemy aliens to be rounded up, but he also promulgated another executive order outlining banned materials, which was explosives, firearms, signaling devices, and shortwave radios, cameras, certain types of map, and people of Japanese descent, because the average age of the Issei was between 50 and 55, and of course they had little kids like me. I was 17 years old, she was 15, and so we were living in the same family. The order was directed against the Issei aliens, but we lived in the same household, so even though the shotgun, the .22 pistol, and Browning camera was mine, I had to turn them in because my father was living in the same household, right? So December 28th, we all people of Japanese, not all people of Italian ancestry, not all people of German ancestry had to do that. All people of Japanese ancestry had to turn in the so-called contraband. December 28, 1941.
At this point, maybe we should explain the generations. The immigrants from Japan, which were our parents, were called Issei. It's according to the numbering system in Japanese, Ichi, Ni, San, Shi, you know those. Issei were the immigrants. Nisei, Homer and I and our friends were the second generation. We were Nisei, because that's number 2. And then Merida was a sunset, the 3rd generation, and Tazi would be the 4th generation, Yonsei. And there is another term, Nikkei, N-I-K-K-E-I, and that is a fairly recent term. And it's for people of Japanese descent living permanently outside of Japan. So we are American Nikkei, there are Canadian Nikkei, German Nikkei, and so forth. It might make it easier because we will call the generations during our conversation.
This was a very, very confusing and scary time for us Nikkei there, and we want to protest and show our devout devotion and loyalty to the United States. So signs like this appeared not in our hometown, but in this is Oakland, California. I am an American. Wampo company selling food. There are lots of these saying that, hey, we're just as loyal to America as anybody else. But the general public didn't perceive us that way. Next, the general public saw us like this. Most, and people who made it really bad was the newspaper, really. Politicians and newspapers are especially bad. Movie tone news and so on like that. This is, slap the Jap and things like that. So signs like this appeared, and things were getting tougher and tougher for me. Now, before I explain this thing, what Mr. Levinson explained, on February 19, 1942, President Roosevelt issued Executive Order 9066, which made it possible for the evacuation of Japanese. It theoretically made it possible for the evacuation of Germany.